Top left is Oliveira from KZ Gaming. Bottom right from the Shopify Rebellion. Looking to bring the series back for them. This is Harstem. Well, can he do it? Can the captain bring us some hope and some hype today? I think so. I definitely don't see why not. He's a strong player. Like I say, I feel like Harstem's in pretty good shape as well. I'm just going to see a barracks going down. And guys, World Team League, one of the great things that we know about World Team League this year is that it's guaranteed to continue this year and later on this year as well. So that's obviously really cool to already know about. That's the big plus for WTL, I would say. I was going to see ICV nibbling up against the probe, trying to deal some damage here initially. Trying to get a little bit of something done. And there's just going to be an expansion going down on both sides. So nothing too wild just yet to get everything underway. So I'll see a couple of SCVs fighting that probe off, pushing it back. And we're going to have a opening just be a reactor pretty quickly here from Oliveira as well. So that very fast reactor after the Reaper. Pretty much what we're very used to seeing. Has become fairly normal as of late. And obviously the Reaper's still coming out, so you get that scout information. We are going to go triple CC though, wow. So we're going to go the greedy way about this right now. So we're going to go pretty greedy. As that command center builds up in that main base. Well, this is a cool thing, because Harstem's not necessarily the most aggressive of players a lot of the time, right? So if you can get away with this, typically you're going to be in a very good position. I guess let's find out if we can get away with this as our robotics facility starts on up. It comes back down to the south. Just trying to figure out where it might want to try and make a play. Hops into the main base, met by the Adepts, so can't really do much. The Robo finishes is going to be an instant observer, so very safe play from Harstem, just getting the observer out, wants to make sure he knows what's up. This is probably worst case scenario when you consider what's currently going on, right? Because he really isn't in a position where he should be sat back and just like chilling and like getting observed, because you're playing 3CC. Like, this is one of the scenarios where actually the longer you wait, really the worse this becomes for you, quite frankly. Like, it just gets worse if you don't do anything at all. I mean, any amount of pressure would have been good here, but the observer just says, I'm going to be passive, I'm not going to do anything. And I really think that that's I mean, that's just rough. You can't just be doing that in this situation at the end of the day. Not at all. Yo, Logic, thank you so much for giving us to that Scarlet as we get ourselves started off in this with the Observer scan through. He's going to see 3CC, now 3 Rex, Stim. And like I say, Harstem's played pretty safe, all things considered, and I think that really is going to be something that just comes back to bite him here, unfortunately. Well, he goes Immortal now because he wants to get ready against the 3 Rex, but again, you're still playing against that 3CC, so I mean, now it feels like we're still being safe. I guess you're just going to buffer up the army before heading into the Robo Bay, essentially, so just moving towards that. Our factory coming up as well. Obviously, we've delayed the tech a little bit, slowing that down. A lot of Marines that are coming out. Now, the Colossi are going to be very important. You need these Colossi to be able to have splash damage against the incoming Marines, right? It's going to be very Marine heavy, so having the Colossus up is going to be important. Is one Colossus going to be enough? Yeah, probably not. One Colossus is never really enough, but a second Colossus coming in, extended thermal lands on the way. It's just a matter of buying time. That's what the Immortal helps with a little bit too. And of course, it's never going to be the most aggressive of timings here from Oliveira, right? This was initially going to be triple CC, right? So it's been economy into this bio play, which can power up the bio play to a certain extent, absolutely. Interesting, I guess, to see what comes out of this next few moments. Just going to take the third CC position. Just wondering if Oliveira pushes and how aggressively he pushes, if so, or if he's actually going to hang back a little bit more and just kind of, you know, leave things to kind of settle. Seems like he's not too eager to kind of rush in and do anything, so kind of okay with that. Like I said, I think it's pretty fine. Puts you in a reasonable position overall, because you ended up in this spot where you're going to be, you know, really just securing that third base first. That's got to be your priority. Your entire game was built around that concept. And then just kind of following up from there, I think, is going to be the plan. Obviously, now the bio push kind of came towards the center, but you don't really have the tech ready to kind of fight Colossi. And like I say, this is not super early, because obviously it's been 3cc, so if it's not super early, you can't then just go and be like, haha, I got your first Colossus before you were ready. It just doesn't really work like that, so yeah, this is going to be Oliveira rightfully backing off for the moment. And yo, Subsolid, thank you so much for 23 months on tier 2 as well. Thank you so much for supporting the channel and being awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Really appreciate it. So this Bioforce is just kind of looming in the center. Harstem playing catch up on his Twilight Council upgrades, which obviously have been something we haven't really been able to do much about, because he obviously didn't open Twilight. The Twilight Council upgrades are specifically late because he's been kind of, you know, opening with that Robo. That's definitely been, you know, kind of the factor. And we've seen this big push from Oliveira pushing forward. Looking to deny the fourth base of Harstem. He's not in position at all to defend this from getting in position, at least. But he is going to be able to contest this still. He is just there off over to the side with the main army, so he can start to come through. And we've seen this Kronos Force has to decide whether he actually wants to save the base or not. The last thing you want to do here is to try and save the base and then not actually commit to saving it, right? Like, you know, if you like half commit and then you let it die anyway, then you may as well just back away and not take the fight in such a poor position usually. So, Harstem doing it right, just kind of giving it up and falling back, using his ability to kite to try and just offset the position of this for the moment. These few tanks on sieging and trying to relocate themselves. Well, see Oliveira trying to just use this now as a foothold for the continued push. It's definitely not ideal, don't get me wrong, that we've kind of ended up like this, right, in this setup of, you know, essentially kind of, as Harstem, you've given up your fourth base, now Oliveira can not do what he wants per se, but he's definitely in a pretty comfortable spot in general. I mean, Oliveira's got his own fourth base up and running, Harstem obviously has to rebuild his fourth, so generally is looking pretty good here if you're on the Oliveira hype train. Kaisi Gaming looking to obviously extend their lead in this series. If Oliveira can take this first map, then you're already kind of halfway through the lives of the Shopify Rebellion, so it's looking good, honestly, for looking very good for Team Kaisi. Let's see if Harstem can do anything with his attack. I feel like it's so unlikely. There's so many tanks in position, so Harstem committing The thing is, Oliveira didn't lose much in what he was doing earlier, right? It's not like he lost a lot trying to kind of deny that 4th base or anything, so this attack completely flops. Everything's going to go down, and that was just never even hopeful, to be honest, right? There was never even, like, in my eyes, a slight bit of hope there. GG's called, and Oliveira is going to take the map win. Oliveira is going to be continuing this victory formation for KZ Gaming so far. It's early days to say victory. Top left is Oliveira from KZ Gaming. Bottom right from the Shopify Rebellion, looking to get them their first point of the day still. Has not been a pretty start, that's for sure. It is Harstem, Shopify Rebellion. Rax Gas coming in, Gateway on the other side of the map from Harstem. Again, Onside Gaming, wait for the winner of this series today, guys, so keep that in mind as well. That Gate and our Rax all coming up. So far, so good. There's our CC, gonna come in on the high ground, so a little bit afraid perhaps Oliveira. Just gonna go high ground CC, mix things up a little bit. Reaper is on the way. Just waiting for that in the next few moments. Harstem obviously didn't quite get to see what's going on, although there shouldn't be too much of a complication or concern for the most part, I imagine. We see now a single adept coming across the map, obviously looking to put some pressure on. Obviously doesn't want to go if it can't defend the Reaper though, so there's that kind of line to walk, that balance to kind of make your way along for the moment. Is just going to see a couple of adepts hanging out on the ramp. The Reaper does begin to ping through the pylon, and the adept's able to start chasing that Reaper away off over to the side. Starport's about to finish up from Oliveira, so we'll see where he wants to take this in terms of aggression. He's tech labbing up the factory right now. He's going to go straight to a medevac, so we are going to go try and get across the map here. Honestly, Cyclone Marine medevac might be a decent way to put some pressure on against this Stargate that is currently on the way up. Not against it. I'm just going to be able to grab an adept there, so nice little pickup. Just going to be seeing our Liberate on the way up, and again, this pressure definitely wants to go from Oliveira, get across the map a little bit, see what we can do. Yo, seriously good. Thank you so much for gifting out 5 subs. Really appreciate the generosity. Thank you so much. And they go out to Drew Lessie2, Ahurix, Lucas19, Logic, and Dream Frequency. Thank you so much again for the generosity. I really appreciate it. Phoenix lift up a Cyclone here, gets dropped back down, but does die, actually. Wouldn't mind hits the Phoenix, though, so the Phoenix not exactly having the greatest of times. Taking quite a bit of damage for the moment. And just a few Marines left over, but able to put some pressure onto this base for at least a little while, so able to do pretty reasonably there, as the Phoenix would love to try and get back into the front and maybe try get a little extra done. Well, Phoenix still trying to go after that medevac, and medevac escaping away for now. Trying to keep out of reach where possible, as we do see the Starport going to make way off of the tech lab. It's going to be seeing the Marines gathering back up on the top side. Twilight Council, Forge, Phoenix, all of that coming through as well. As the Phoenix come back in, and I mean, doing what they can. You need to get some damage done here as Harstem. It's not been a pretty game for you, but you are actually up kind of a lot of workers, right? I mean, the Phoenix getting kind of beat up on before was kind of bad, but if you can maintain this kind of a worker lead, then you actually do end up in a pretty okay position, right? So I have to imagine that is something we able to keep our eyes on here. It's going to be seeing our Phoenix back across the center again. It's going to be really all eyes on them for a little while at the very least. Keeping, you know, an eye on things, just making sure we're fairly on top of where everything is moving to, etc. So, it's going to be, like I say, a lot of pressure on them to kind of keep control of this game, I suppose is a good way to phrase it, right? Just keeping control of everything as Cyclone stays locked on there. Gets a Phoenix kill. The Phoenix had just tried to lift the Cyclone too to cancel the lock on, but it was just a moment too late in saving itself. Unfortunately, as now this Adept is going to clean out a Marine. Just come over, and again, the Phoenix not being paid attention to. We nearly lose one of them. We just about get it away. Again, these are little misplays from Harstem that just need to be eliminated, because the more of these that happen, well, the tougher it's going to get for him playing simple, right? I mean, you just need to try and cut this out ASAP here. I'm not quite convinced about... I mean, don't get me wrong, I think Harstem's actually... I mean, you look at the economy, and again, his economy is actually very good. Much better than I even feel like I was expecting it to be when I just had a quick peek at it there. His work account's insane. So his economy is very good. It just feels... Maybe I'm focused and too honed in on these Phoenix, and these Phoenix have not exactly been the best. I think that's fair to say, right? The Phoenix have been a little lackluster, but... I mean, you look overall at the numbers, and maybe Harstem ain't so bad in this game, right? I mean, if you can get a little bit of tech up and truly fight against this Terran force, I guess maybe I should become a little bit more of a believer. So we see now a single Marine goes to a watchtower. And we see an army at the right side. So Harstem actually making a little bit of a play as well. So away he goes to try and get something done. And we see now Depot's coming up as obviously Oliveira here recognizes he needs to maybe be a little bit careful, right? Just try to potentially defend things in these early stages and not get too caught up in the moment. Just make sure if those depots are up, you can defend against a larger attack. You can do that. Obviously, that would be rather lovely. Not easy to do, though. I'm just going to be seeing our lip stand up as well. The defensive position is actually really being locked down here by Oliveira. He is just taking no chances. Lone Colossus is on a bit of an adventure, but yeah, Oliveira is really not messing around when it comes to that, right? He is absolutely just going to stick strong, and you see another Colossus popping out that's going to be rallying forward here as well very soon. But our Disruptor's on the way as well, so we're really getting into a little bit of everything here. As the Widowmine goes off on a Phoenix. Harstem is very good, honestly, a lot of the time in these later game situations. I feel like if you can play into like a longer game of well, any matchup, a lot of the time I actually feel like he's quite the convincing player, honestly. So, play to see what he can do, if he can keep this up. Especially as you see the Stargates coming through, he's going to start getting towards his carriers, and that's obviously a big access point for him to potentially get a lot more done here. So, that's definitely going to be a fun possibility. Army going through the center, just going to be seeing this army of Harstem hanging tight for the moment. Don't really think you can attack in, right? We saw time double down on the, defensive positioning, so I don't think that's going to go anywhere anytime soon. That's okay, though, because if you look at that from Harstem's point of view, if Time's being that defensive, that gives you, Oliveira, if he's being that defensive, that gives you the chance as Harstem to sort of get up into those carriers. And for the moment, it definitely seems that that's just something Harstem is happy to do. He's happy to just accept that and say, okay, then, let's go. Let's commit to this, then, if you're going to do that. I get to commit to my little something as well, and like I said, I don't think he's going to be overly upset about that. I think he's going to be kind of okay with it. Yes, yeah, army moving up once again, so up we go. Just going to be seeing the missile turret able to knock down the Prism. Couple of Zealots going in for the Marauder, and Disruptor's going from afar. I mean, nice to get the Prism in to try and do something. As long as Harstem's keeping Oliveira somewhat busy, I'm kind of fine, because again, he's taking it as a chance to build up into more carriers of his own, so he is giving himself more time. As long as they're not horrendously bad trades. I mean, Oliveira is maxed. He's now starting live range. That might be one thing that keeps him back at the very least, though. Killing off his Phoenix. Can I just say one more time? Really don't think the Phoenix were great this game. Am I beating a dead horse? Maybe a little bit. Just really don't think they were, right? I think it's not that crazy of a statement. They were a little lackluster, to say the least. Definitely didn't do everything I was hoping and dreaming of, I guess. Can we see now a bigger push from Oliveira? He just come through. I mean, this map's pretty small. It's one side of the map to the other when you kind of look at these situations a lot of the time, and that's why he gets across so quickly. And all of a sudden, we're talking about a, Terran player that's sieged up with Liberators on top of this position. So that's definitely got to be a factor right now as well. Suddenly, Oliveira is going to be able to take these positions. This is what Harstem's been building up for. Is he going to be able to survive at this point? Is he going to be able to do enough against this army? He's had his chance to tech up. He's definitely been given a little bit of time to get to this point and to maybe begin dealing with it. Is it going to be, like I say, enough right here? Let's just have our carriers firing up. 6 probes going down. Big push on this right side, gonna start getting rid of this Nexus as well. So that base is just a goner. So many carriers, but like I said, this is why you kind of need these, Liberators to help zone, and the carriers try and push through. Back and forth here. Carriers looking to come through. There's a nuke going off. That nuke might land if we don't have detection. Hello, the nuke. Okay, Disruptor gets rid of the Ghost. He knew where it was. He wasn't going to let that be a connection. That would have been disastrous. That would have been really, really bad, but we can get away with it for the moment, so not as bad as we initially perhaps thought. Oof. You see now, Army of Harstem is able to kind of, move out again now and maybe start contesting a little bit. The only issue being is that, well, yeah. The only issue really being that the bases have already gone down. So now you're already kind of somewhat baseless compared to where you want to be. That's obviously not exactly pretty or ideal at all. And then you're going to try and land, but the ghost does get denied just about in time. It's important for Harstem. Doesn't want to be losing his side defense. Oliveira having denied so much of this kind of, just setup in general for Harstem is now falling back. Harstem's army supply is massive, though. May just need to be able to push into this right now. So pulling back a little bit, just going to be fighting against some of these zealots. Again, Harstem, if he wants to take one of these battles, needs to be very sure about it. Also, can they gather up? Just going to see a Prism with this as well. You can see the income advantage that Oliveira is taking off knocking down those bases. He needs the income, though, because obviously, like I've been saying, Harstem is kind of set up at the moment to kind of have a... I guess Harstem's kind of set up right now to have a pretty good battle with the current army supply situation, right? So I guess that kind of comes into play. Just going to be seeing this push of Harstem making its way up through the center. As Harstem wants to try and break in on the left-hand side. I mean, big counterattack from Oliveira just says, I can do without these bio units defending, which is probably pretty true. I don't disagree. I think that's not a bad initial call from him. Gonna knock down a missile turret here coming through the sensor tower. Another missile turret. Storm's coming down. Zoning out those Vikings. I mean, the carriers have been hit by EMPs. They're already missing a lot of their shields. Now it's time for Oliveira to lose bases of his own. And that bio counterattack's going to keep Harstem somewhat busy. I'm going to turn the carriers into these Liberators, picking away at a bunch of them. Good trades for Harstem in that regard. Remember that Oliveira's had a bit more mind to rebuild with. Harstem doesn't really have bases to fall back to either. This push really felt like it was kind of all or nothing in a big way for Harstem here. That might still be somewhat true. I don't think he's necessarily done enough just yet to be clear on the other side of it. He is still pushing though, and we can actually get some good shots off on these Vikings. Scan on this army. The army supplies are getting closer than they've been in a long time as well, so that's also going to be a little bit of the issue here in terms of Harstem, because before he had a 40 army supply lead. Massive storms all over the Vikings. One more, all the Vikings disappear. Yeah, but still have pretty much a lot of Harstem's forces. I mean, he still has a little bit of the army supply lead, but now it doesn't feel anywhere near as good, and definitely not enough to bust through this position. He doesn't quite have that powerful punch that he once needed. And I think that's going to be the real killing blow for him now. He just can't quite break through towards the tail end of this. I think that's going to end up costing him. Man. Alright, Nuke coming around, not sure where that was, but it's Harstem still has an army supply lead. It's just like I say, I mean, there's so much position set up from Oliveira, and I think Oliveira obviously still has a little bit of the better mining available too, and that's obviously going to go a pretty big distance in this as well. So GG from Harstem. He's going to get knocked down. Oliveira remains undefeated. 4-0 so far against the Shopify Rebellion. Björn, Harstem. Now it's one of the Zergs, Lambo or Scarlet, coming up to try and take Oliveira down as KaiZ Gaming. God, they are looking like the team to beat at the moment. We'll see. Both matches won yesterday in pretty convincing fashion there. Today, Oliveira is just on a streak, and if he plays like this, he's going to be somewhat hard to stop. Well, guys, we'll take a quick little break. We'll come back. More StarCraft coming up as Oliveira takes on Lambo or Scarlet, whoever Shopify Rebellion send out next here in the World Team League. BRB.